Alright, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to commentary on the Casual Corner 2v2 tournament. This is Season 5, I think, of it. Land 2v2 that finished probably like a couple months ago, maybe a month ago. Just getting to this now, but yeah, it's the final of the tournament between myself and Simplified against bleks and asseror, so Americans against the Russians. Pretty interesting tournament. The way it works is basically every player was given a random faction, sort of like the con, and there were not rules for each faction, but rules by pools of factions, so I'll quickly go to them. So you can see that, like, for example, Massilia is a pool 1 faction, so like the best factions. Pool 2 would be like Carthage, and then like Nabatea is in Pool 3, and Syracuse is in Pool 3. So there's a little bit of differences between them. So for example, in Pool 1, you get only 4 melee infantry plus a low tier, like a 470 or less, 2 missile cav only, 3 cataphracts. So things that would balance the top tier factions like your barbarians and Parthia and stuff like that. Pool 2, you get 5 same instead of 4 same, and you get more melee infantry by quite a bit actually, 6 melee, no low tier cap. So basically 1.5 more melee than pool 1. 2 missile cav still, some other similar rules about max cav and foot missiles and some infantry rules. And pool 3, obviously they're weaker factions, so they get even better rules. So they also have 5 same, but they get 6 melee plus a low tier. So even more melee, 3 missile cav, 13 infantry, so even more fair rules. Now I will say before this starts, if you think about the factions that we have here, so Simplified has Syracuse, which is actually one of the worst factions. It's a pool 3 faction, as you can see here, but it doesn't really benefit from the pool 3 rules because it doesn't have a low tier, so it can only take 6 melee infantry and it still can't take a low tier. It can take 3 missile cav. 5 same is not that useful. What would you take 5 same of? Really? Like 5 slingers, maybe? It's like the only thing. 3 missile cav, sure, kind of nice. But it doesn't really benefit as much as Nabatea, say, which can take a bunch of low tiers and take 5 same very easily with slingers or Nabatean swords or axemen, or even Nabatean noble cav, for example, or desert heavy lancers. They don't have missile cav though. That is one thing. Carthage pool 2, gets pretty nice stuff. It doesn't really want to take a lot of missile cav, so this doesn't really hurt it too much. And then 6 melee is fine for Carthage. Nothing else really. 5 same, probably not going to be used for Carthage, to be fair. And then Massilia, which is my faction, is probably one of the worst pool 1 factions. Now, I think it probably deserves to be in pool 1 anyway. Like, you look at the pool 2 factions, I'd say Massilia is probably better than all these except for like Pontus, maybe. Maybe Bactria, maybe Getai, things like that. But it's probably up there in the pool 1. But it just is one of the worst pool 1 factions. And so when you do a grouping like this, obviously there's always going to be factions at the bottom of the pool and the top of the pool, which will benefit, or be burdened by the rules differently. So if you look at pool 1, like, it's pretty trash for Massilia. Like, 2 missile cav, okay, fine, not a huge thing. But 4 melee infantry plus 1 low tier. Massilia can bring a lot of low tiers, a lot of melee infantry, axe warriors, Celtics, so they would really like more than this. But they can still take, 4 hit pace. There's no max hit pace, just cataphracts. 4 same, a little annoying, but nothing too big. So not terrible. Massilia is still a great faction, but we have the best faction and the worst faction, and they have sort of the middle 2 factions. So, well, I'd say Nabatea is probably better than a pool 3 faction, honestly, but it really does benefit from the pool 3 rules. So we'll see. And obviously the players are all pretty good in this game, so or in this series. It is a best of 5, all on Nabatea. And yeah, let's get into it, and we'll talk about what I was thinking for like game plan wise. So we had also played, we had also played a bunch of games before. So there's some other teams in the tournament, like there was a cat team, which was like 70 Kid and Soap, I think. And we had seen how each other would play and kind of had some idea of that. So we're here on the enemy team's perspective, but let's see what the general thinking was. Let's start with our team, I guess. In terms of armies and builds and stuff. So I have Massilia here, and I think I took this army pretty much the entire tournament. Didn't really change anything. 4 Hippeus, 2 Massilian Cav, so getting very Cav heavy. 4 Levy Freemen. I do have a Celtic Warrior, 3 Celtic Warriors, 2 Axe Warriors, so that's that 5 melee, including the 1 low tier. Massilian Thureos, and then 2 Tarentine Cav. So very aggressive army. No slingers of any kind, so I am forced to be kind of aggressive here, but I have a lot of, Levy Freeman can screen, very good cav in terms of the 4 pass. It is worth saying that we actually played these guys before. I think it was the upper bracket final, and we beat them 2-1. It was a very close series, and yeah, the games were very close. Basically, what would happen is I was able to overwhelm Nabate in a lot of those games. And then, Simplified is a hard matchup here. Syracuse is basically just worse Carthage. It has better rules, but if you look at if we, go back and look at the rules, you'll see that Syracuse doesn't really benefit from the rules at all. So it actually has pretty much the same rules as Carthage, and obviously Carthage is a better faction. They both have Samnites. Libyans are better than Thorax. Better cav for Carthage, options. Um, way better missile options. Uh, better low tier infantry. There's none for Syracuse. There's Scutarii as well for Carthage. So Simplified is a hard matchup. So it's sort of on me to defeat Nabatea in a matchup where I am favored as well. Like I should be favored to win this. Massilia versus Nabatea, and then maybe as long as Simplified survives and does enough damage to Carthage, maybe we can win late game. And what we found in the later stages of that first series was that him bringing Balearics was actually quite good. Because if Carthage went to help me, or against me, right, help Nabate against me, then, the Balearics could cook. He does have Tarentines against Numidian, so he kind of has the edge here. He also has a bunch of militia hoplites. We'll get into his army in a second. But yeah, it is worth thinking about how we learned lessons from the last series as well. And then also, of course, they lost that series, but they also learned things from that series, so they also will have changed their game plan slightly. I don't think they changed their armies very much. Maybe Carthage did. I don't quite remember, but yeah, you can see I'm bringing a Tarentine behind because this is very annoying. Nabatea not having missile cav and also two Numidians against Tarentines on Carthage's side means that our missile cav advantage is really critical. We need the Tarentines to be alive. We need them to, potentially shoot cav, get into missiles. You'll see that Carthage has elite missiles. There's some slingers from Nabatea. So we need to take advantage of that if possible. So simplified army is 3 Balearics, 1 regular slinger. Looks like 3 militia hoplites, 1 Thureos. He has 3, or I guess 2 Italian, no, 1 Italian, 2 citizens, 1 Epeius, 2 Tarentines, and then 3 Samnites and 3 Thorax. So a very strong infantry corps. Has some support with the Thureos. Good militia hoplites there, good Balearics. A very balanced army. But he's up against Carthage, which is taking a very similar army, and you'll see it's almost exactly the same. So he has 3 late Libyan hoplites, well 4 actually, or well 3 and 1 Libyan, to match up with the 3 militia hoplites and Thureos in the front line. So Simplified is slightly stronger there. And then there's 3 Balearics here to match the 3 Balearics. There's a Cretan to match this regular slinger, 2 Numidians to match the 2 Tarentines, 2 Noble Cav with 2 Carthaginian Cav, so better Cav force. And then the infantry force is Scutarii, Samnite, Scutarii, Gallic Warrior. So you can see they're very evenly matched in terms of their units, and it actually is not a terrible mismatch for Syracuse. Like the armies are very similar, given that Carthage has just better quality overall. Basically, they trade a citizen or an Italian for a Noble Cav, a slinger for a Cretan, and then Syracuse gets a Thureos for a cheap hoplite, and then slightly better infantry as well, basically trading Thorax for Thorax, like basically 3 Thorax for 2 Scutarii and a Gallic Warrior. So take your pick as which is better. I think Carthage overall is a little bit stronger here. The missile advantage is very annoying. The cav advantage also very annoying. The Thureos can't really do too much in this matchup, but it's not terrible given the difference in quality of the factions. Syracuse can definitely hold their own and not get like steamrolled, which is basically all we need. Yeah, we're surrounding here. Just gonna fast forward. So our goal is for Simplified to just take the missile fight as much as he wants. Obviously, I can't help him in the missile fight, so it's possible for Nabatea to double these Edgemost slingers, and I can't really do anything about that. So when it's looking bad, then I kind of just have to rush and take the fight. You can see with my deployment, I want to get around the flank. You can see I'm bringing a lot of units around the flank. I have these extra Massilian Cav and Hippeus moving out there. And let's look at the army of Nabatea. He has a Desert Pikeman. I don't think he had that in the last series, actually, so maybe he did make a small change. He has 2 Desert Heavy Lancers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Nabatean Noble Cav, so a very strong Cav force. He has 2 Armored Desert Hoplites, 3 Slingers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Nabatean swords, and an axe. So you can see that's a lot of infantry to take care of. I do have the 2 Massilian Hoplites to match up with Desert Hoplites. Obviously, I win that. My axes and Celtics are better than his swords. I do have the Thureos as well. But he also has 7 very strong cav units against my essentially 4 plus the 2 Massilian cav. And the Massilian cav are really kind of useless in this matchup. They won't kill a lot. They're medium, so they die on the charge pretty hard to the heavy lancers. They can't really contest the noble cav in melee, so they lose that. And they don't really kill a lot on the charge. But they're just utility. My gen's in 1, so I can just keep them safe. Makes sense. You can see Nabatea trying to press up here and get some shots on these bleks, which they will be able to do, and they'll probably get quite decent angles here. But he does have to move forward a little bit more to get in range, which means he'll take the first volley, but that's totally fine. These slingers are pretty expendable in this matchup. See, I have a Tarantine all the way behind, forcing his Skutarii to turn around, trying to actually get shots on the Skutarii. It's a good value target with only 60 armor. I was trying to sword side them, but he did kind of respond. And now these slingers will start to fire back, and you can see they're really going to hit this edge, these edge slingers, when they have this kind of like diagonal angle, and they will start to fuck up these dudes. And not a lot of the unit is firing back, so more regular slingers are firing than Balearic, so you will lose this trade long term if you don't respond. But he did just push forward, push these guys back a little bit. He got a lot of kills actually on that slinger. 10 kills, lost only 2, but not a terrible trade really. Here we're putting all sorts of pressure on Carthage. Again, Carthage is like a bigger threat here, in our opinion, so we want to you know, push them back. Let Simplified take control of the flank, and now he's going to start the missile war in earnest here. The Cretan's not really helping, so it is kind of 4v3, although this Balearic, you can see it is getting shot by 2 units, so it's probably just going to die. He's using the Tarantine, though, to help, which is nice, trying to move Carthage around, which is pretty good. And, yeah, I'm pushing forward aggressively here, trying just to initiate some sort of fight. And you can see I'm actually going to get the fight here. I'm going to use my Massilian Cav to charge in here. Probably better to actually bait, well, I guess you just charge at this point, but maybe bait this out, use Levy Freeman, try to get the Hippeas to charge. You can see my outflanking maneuver is very strong here, though. I will be able to get around the flank. The question is, can I maintain that pressure? Because eventually his Cav will start to, you know, be very strong in these fights. My Levy Freeman, you know, can help in the Cav fight, which is good. But his infantry also is not anything to be trifled with, really. So we have to watch out for that. And yeah, so the charges come in here. You can see I'm trying to get Pila on this Lancer. Don't really manage a great job of that, but maybe get a few kills with that. And another Lancer trying to get in here. So I'm getting the early advantage in these fights. My Celtics are getting into this Nabatean Axor. You can see my Tarantine's actually going to get in the back here. Try to cause a little bit of like panic. Maybe rout these guys with their low morale. But he does cover here, so I'm actually going to lose a few Tarantines. So a bit greedy maybe with the Tarantine play there. See, the rest of my army is on the way, and you can see Simplified actually makes a decision here, which I like. He sees Carthage is actually like running away. There's a lot of space here. He says, I'm going to come help double Nabatea, because now if Carthage wants to rotate, he can still get shots. Carthage is too far to really shoot him, and he's also shield side, right? You only give up shield side shots, but if Carthage wants to go this way, they give up sword side. So it's a good decision because Carthage is so passive to come in and maybe double Nabatea. Now I can take the flank completely, and he can, you know, fight in the center. Maybe we can overwhelm them before support gets in. But you can see he also got some good engagements here. His hoplites are going to kill off this Celtic, which didn't get a really good charge. Actually kind of charges through, but then gets caught on this unit. It's getting surrounded. Here this Celtic is getting a charge on the Axe Warrior. There is some cav involved, but it's mostly getting out of the fight at this point. This Axe Warrior is getting pulled out of position. You can see I'm also pulling this Cav out of position. I'm trying to get around the flank, but you can see very quickly, so pretty weird charge there, but we'll get some kills. Pretty quickly, I'm kind of tied up and starting to get bogged down, but that's why if Simplified comes and helps me here, I can maybe rotate more units to this fight, maybe bring this Axe Warrior, this Thoreus as well. My gen's also pretty far back, because I don't have any flanking action. He does have 3 slingers, which will start to rack up kills over time. You can see my Massilian Hoplite here is actually in a pretty good fight. There is this Pike, though. Not sure I really realized that was a Pike in the actual game. But the support of Simplified is on the way as well. Now Bleks is really going to feel the pressure. He's going to take the opportunity to kill this Levy Freeman and get a second charge. No, doesn't get a charge, so I get the counter charge. Actually, no, he does get a charge the last second. Well done. And you will get the support of this Axe Warrior. Now I don't have any melee units here, so this is actually a little sus because I can't actually win this fight long term. This Axe Warrior will just cook everything here. But I will get some kills, and if I lose this Massilian Cav at 15 men, it's not the end of the world. Get some Pila in there. Get a nice charge with the Lancer. Use this Massilian Cav as a sacrifice to get those charges off. And you can see I'm bringing more units around the flank now. Killing off this Desert Hoplite. Killing off these units in the center pretty easily, although the Pike will be there. It will die eventually. And now you can see Tip is taking up this center. He's going to start losing a lot of men to this mass fire. You can see, but all of Carthage's missiles being over here means that we know this is a very easy kill. There's no threat anywhere over here. All of, Carthage obviously can take the fight with melee, but that's, that's slow, it's long. That's okay. We can hold that off. It's the missiles that are Carthage's biggest advantage, and they're super out of the fight right now. Although they will get some value on these Thorax. So I guess that's not all doom and gloom. You will also catch them in melee, but yeah, get into the slinger. So not bad, but Simplified does kind of realize it gets his gen over there. You can see these units are shooting. They're Balearic shooting in the sword side of the Samnites. No kills yet, but they will start to rack them up. We're killing off this Desert Hot Plate. Probably way too blobbed here, that we want to be overwhelming. We don't want to stack up and blob. We want to, get through, which he is doing with the Thorax, but we want to do that with more units. Break through this gap here, push the Slingers, because the Slingers are starting to chip us down. And you can see I'm not really winning my flank anymore, so now, like, Nabate is stabilizing the flank, and if he just gets his slingers, set up and starts chipping down our cav, Carthage is obviously going to be very healthy later in the game, um, because Simplified is fighting us. And the way it works in Rome 2, especially in 2v2 and team games in general, is doubling is good if you can overwhelm. But if you can't overwhelm, because units take so long to die in this game, it will usually mean that the player who doesn't get doubled gets to take a very advantageous fight against the remaining force of the doubling player. And I'll do this. I'll give you the math for how this works. So let's say every army is 20 units, right? Which is generally the case. If simplified, so I'm fighting a 20 versus 20 on my side, right? That's over here. If simplified says 10 units to help me, it's 30 versus 20, which yes is a 1.5 times multiplier, right? But on this side, Carthage is fighting 20 versus 10, which is 2 times, right? And if you think about what that means, it means, especially with Human 2, how you can really only get around one flank, like the center is usually pretty locked if the armies are close together. It means that the 20 versus 10 on the side that didn't get doubled is going to be able to flank and break through very quickly. And the only way to kill units quickly in Rome 2 is to flank them, surround them, shoot them in the back, like these sort of things, right? If you just fight them frontally with 3 units, it doesn't really make a difference. There's no advantage in blobbing up against units. It doesn't kill faster. So because the 20 versus 10 is going to be able to surround faster and kill them, they will win their side more cleanly than the 30 versus 20 on the other side. Of course, the caveat to that is that the side that doubles is usually going to fight first. So if we take the 30 versus 20 and 5 minutes later the 20 versus 10 happens, it might be too late, right? You might overwhelm this and win cleanly enough that now it's 20 versus like 35 or whatever is left on our side, and then the numbers are just too much, right? Um, so that's sort of the important thing to take advantage of in the double team. So you can see like Simplified has very few units here, but Carthage is pretty slow to react. And so if we can mop up Nabatea completely before Carthage can kill these units, and Simplified is doing a good job, you can see he's running away right now to try and delay that, then we'll have a good chance. I'm also bringing my Tarentines behind Carthage because I see all these blobbed up missiles, and that's just a very juicy target. Carthage is starting to get value now with the Noble Cav. He is under fire though, and these Thorax, yeah, the Thorax are going to die, but they actually did a good job killing some Cav, just surviving. They can kill these spears. And now I finally see that Carthage is probably distracted. Massilia is crumbling now. I have tons of reserves. I'm actually winning this Cav fight now. He doesn't have any infantry to pile into the fight because they're being tied up by Syracuse. So I'm actually going to go for the missiles. And the Asseror does see it, but it sees it a little bit too late. And I mean, this is just devastating. Like, these are like 12, 11 kills. They have all their ammo. And I'm just about going to get in and get, a fucking 150 kills or whatever on his elite missiles, which he really needed to win the game. Maybe it wouldn't be enough if his Cav all dies anyway, but probably more than likely was their win condition at least. And you can see Nabatea is just falling apart to the support, and because these missiles are now not only like mostly dead but also tied up and not in the fight, we can take advantage of the fact that he's not shooting us. We can still trade efficiently for longer. All these fights are not so bad. Also getting shots on their Cav. You tried to suicide the Carthaginian Cav here for the Slingers. These Bleriks also have a lot of ammo as well, 36 kills, 23, 28, so we also have a lot of ammo remaining. So he tried to go for our Slingers, but Tarentine was sacrificed dutifully to get that out of the way. And now it's just going to be clean up territory, basically, because we will have enough units here. We have all our Slingers. Their Slingers are now pretty much depleted, so we'll win the missile fight. We have more units. We'll have more support. We have more Cav. I mean, the General is a threat. There's a couple of Carthaginian Cav that's pretty strong, but there's pretty healthy units here as well. The General for Syracuse is also pretty healthy. We have a ton of infantry. General, this Lancer, this literally full citizen Cav. So we have enough to win here as long as our missiles stay alive. So we'll just retreat, kill off the remainder of Nabatea, reform, and then clean up Carthage. So we'll just skip through, not much to see here. As yeah, Nabatea is dead. And you can see now the Balearics can just go to work. because there's no opposing threat really. Almost kind of crazy suicide from the Fledge Gen, but it does save it. But you can see we have a little bit of nubs of Cav. The Noble Cav here is weak enough where we're not really threatened by it. 36, 33. Like, it's not going to be enough to kill all our Cav and our missiles and whatever. They do have a lot of healthy Carthaginian infantry, but now they're just going to get dumped. We have a full Massilian Hoplite and a bunch of, other units here. 3 healthy Thorax, 3 healthy Axe Warrior, Therios, and these Galax and Skitari will just get shot down by the bleks. We send our little Cav nubs around to flank, put pressure on the slingers, and of course our bleks here are just going to get a bunch of kills. Shoot any Cav that get near, and eventually, yeah, just completely winning here. So yeah, very close game. A good decision by Simplified to double Nabatea. And I probably needed it because it didn't look like I was doing that well. But then, of course, 5, 6, 7 infantry come to help you from the other side, and all of a sudden, they can't just handle all of those units. There's just too many. And he was able to kind of get through the gap in the center, because again, the whole reason he did this play to double was because Carthage was very passive, which kind of made a gap in the lines that he could exploit. Plus, with me flanking on the right, stretching out Nabatea didn't have too many units to respond. So yeah, let's see if we can look at the stats. I think it's going to crash. Oh, restart real quick. Alright, so now we are going into game 2. It is worth making a recording. It is worth noting that actually in this game, we started the game and then instantly crashed. So the game didn't even really start, but we did see each other's armies. And that actually helped us quite a bit because you'll see they take a pretty interesting build. And so we were able to kind of strategize in the time where we were restarting our games and getting in the lobby and stuff. And we came up with a very good solution because we had this time. If we were forced to play this, if we were just playing it normally, instantly on the first sight, it may have been harder to come up with the solution. Although I think we probably would have ultimately, but we shall, can't really see the past. So armies I think are identical. I mean, we won the game, we won the last series as well. So there's no reason to think that the armies would be any different, and I believe that's right. Yep. But you will see that the armies are quite different for especially Carthage. And I think Nabatea is a very similar army, but yeah, so Nabatea still looks like they have the same army with the 2 pike, the 2 hoplites, the 1 pike, 3 slingers, 2 heavy cav, 5 noble cav, 5 swords, 1 axe. But Carthage, you can instantly see, has a big change. Carthage has 4 noble cav, a Numidian noble cav and regular Numidian, and 2 Carthaginian cav. So very cav heavy. The elite jav cav as well, very strong. He has Scutarii, 3 of them. 3 Gallic warriors, I want to say. Yeah, 3 Gallic warriors. And then a bunch of spears, so late Libyans, 2. Yeah. 4 late Libyans, and 1 Libyan, or 2 Libyans maybe. So very top heavy army. You can see they actually switched sides. So now they want Nabatea to contest Selle, fucking Syracuse, and Carthage to fight me. Now, this is interesting. So Carthage has a very rush-heavy army to match my rush-heavy army. Basically, it's the same army. So it's kind of like last game where Carthage matched Syracuse. Now Carthage is sort of matching my army, right? He has the 4 elite cav, the 2 light cav, the 2 jav cav, bunch of fucking spears. They don't have pila, but still they're pretty good. And then the low tier infantry spam. Again, it's sort of better than mine, right? Like he has better swords with the Scutarii. He has a better elite cav. Neither of us has slingers. I do have the 2 hoplites though, so that's something to think about. But he has the better infantry overall, and he has the elite jav cav. So very similar. And then Syracuse matching up with Nabatea is also pretty interesting. Again, you have the jav cav for free. And the elite slingers. So basically what Syracuse wants to do is there's a huge cav disadvantage, so he just wants to lock it down and let his slingers shoot. The more the bleks shoot, obviously, before the cav can get to them, the better. And so again, we saw the deployment and everything in the last game, and then we crashed, so we had to restart. And I basically said, okay, what we're going to do is, I don't really care about Carthage. Carthage can't really do much to me. We're kind of just evenly matched, whatever. So I'm going to help you, because if you just shoot, Nabatea is going to lose, right? If you just shoot with the bleks all game, Nabatea is going to lose. So I'm just going to play to run away from Carthage, keep refusing the flank, slow them down as much as possible, while helping you by giving you cav support, Levy Freeman support, so that you can just blerick the crap out of Nabatea, then you'll beat Nabatea. And Nabatea doesn't have a great matchup here. They have a lot of cav, yes, but there's a bunch of militia hoplites and Therios and stuff in the way. Then there's elite, not elite infantry, but mid-tier infantry that destroy the low-tier infantry of Nabatea. And there's the fucking bleks, which will just cook your cav over the long term. There's two Jav cav that you have to worry about the whole game. You basically have to get around the flank to get to the slingers. And so I said, okay, what we're going to do is you have two Jav cav. I'm going to bring you Levy Premium. We're just going to lock down this flank. If he tries to go around the flank, we will just shut it down as much as possible. If Carthage attacks me, I'll fall back. If Carthage tries to double you, that's even better. Because now the right flank will be secure. I'll just go behind you and just buff up your lines, give you cav support. Because again, as long as the fight is in front of us, we will always win this game. We will literally always win this game because we have bleks. They don't have any missiles of note. We have more Jav cav. We have enough cav and better, like, enough infantry to hold the line. And the only way they win is to break through and somehow get to our missiles. And then, you know, if our bleks don't get value, maybe we can lose. So, yeah, the plan is just to chill together and let Simplified's missiles win the game for us. And the main concern is the flank, and that's why we have the Thoreos there. We have a Thorax out here with the Samnite in support by Levy Freeman, the Javcav. Everything is on this flank. My flank does not really matter. Bleks, you can see the bleks are all on the far left, so I can just keep refusing this flank. This slinger might need to dip at some point. The bleks will probably end up behind our lines, just shooting. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So they're going to take the initiative here, charge forward, using a square. Blek almost gets caught, but you can see he's just going to go into phalanx, which is really smart. Just sit there in phalanx, don't let things charge you. Again, we don't care if the fight comes frontally, that's fine. If anything, I can just double Nabatea, right? Because that forces Carthage to come to me. And as you can see, what I'm already doing is I'm just bringing my entire army to the left. I see Carthage is very far away. Whatever. I don't care. If I get behind Syracuse, if we form, like, if we're just playing on top of each other, the only way we lose is they surround us. If we lock down left flank, right flank is going to take forever for them to surround on, and I have enough units there still to defend against it. So I'm instantly just like, okay, if they want to push like this way, then I'm going to get behind Syracuse and just double up here, and then hold the right flank with some units and slow them down, because these units are very far away. And again, just let those bleks cook. Simplified already has Javcav in very good positions. Thorax here, getting into the hoplite, again locking down that flank. Reserves are everywhere, in good positions. Most hoplites are stopping them from just kind of full YOLOing us. And I'm just coming to play support here. Just, yeah, again, Thorax sword in a pretty decent fight with that hoplite. The hoplite might win that long term, but again, we don't really care about slow fights. Like, we just care about, can we lose instantly to something? And the answer is no, then we're usually fine. These cav are going to get a great volley. Simplified choosing to shoot cav, which is obviously smart here. We don't really care about infantry. Again, our infantry is like good enough to hold. Like, maybe eventually we lose some fights, but if we kill enough cav, it won't really matter. So just getting shots into a nice blob. This Thoreos has taken a lot of beating from slingers, but you know, it is what it is. Held the line for us. This Thorax is slowly dying, but he's getting nice swordside peel with the Terratine there to kind of even that out a little bit. It's a tough fight though. He sees like an opportunity to charge here. Probably not an advisable charge, Loki. And now here on the left, you can see I'm just pulling up behind Syracuse. There's a lot of action here, using that cav nicely, citizens, to block these charges, lock down this angle. Here I see an opportunity to get like a nice charge here. I'm going to come in support. I'll get my Terratines. And look at Carthage right now. Look at Carthage. Very, very slow to react. And my army is just in perfect position. This is where I want to be for the rest of the game. Just on the flank of Simplified, where I can easily support him in the center, so he can support far left, and defend, you know, any wrapping action. These bleks are very, very safe right now. My Levy Freeman is just here, peeling these hoplites. If anyone wants to try to go through, I can get a peel volley, support cav fight. Terratine is just locking it down. And yeah, here I'm going to get involved with my Massilian hoplites. They'll do quite well with the Armored Desert hoplites. I have Celtics, Thoreos, Levy Freeman, all just in reserve. And look how nicely this is looking. Look, bleks are just shooting. His slingers are constantly under pressure. If he gets actually a nice rear charge here, if he wants to chase these cav, bleks will just cook everything. Levy Freeman here in position to potentially help. Probably need a cav a bit closer here. They could try to go for this charge and just tank Capilla, which would probably be bad long term anyway. Still cooking these cav that are just on top of each other. And here's just a big grind fight, and I'm fine with that. I can cycle charge here. I have support. Massilian hoplites in the grind will do very well. I can just keep cycle charging my Axe Warriors and my Celtic Warriors. Lawyer Freeman is needed. Here, yeah, nice job just eating this up. Tries to pull through here after charging. I guess that's fair enough. But even I have some cav here to potentially respond. He finally does make a small breakthrough here, but again, this is sort of a bait. Like, yeah, he will get some Balearic kills here, but between this Pila and the Gen, Like, these Nabatea Noble Cav are just gonna die, and now they're actually just running out of cav. Like, I mean, Carthage has a lot of cav, but Nabatea's cav is basically dead. Balearics are pretty much untouched. This one did lose 30 men to that cav. This one, not much lost. This one almost nothing lost. This slinger full. And again, my fight here is just quite good. I'm cycle charging permanently here with Levy Freeman, with Celtics. I mean, the Celtics are, the Levy Freeman are just cycling in so the Celtics can get another charge. Here you can see Axe Warriors and Levy Freeman going to cycle out. My cav, yeah, I'm losing some cav here, but yeah, Nabatea Noble Cav not in a good way. This elite Chow cav has not really been used at all. So much so that my Terrantines are just behind Syracuse now to help. Because I don't see any threat on our right, really. I have Levy Freeman that can block. I have a bunch of cav. My cav are just doing nothing because there's literally nothing for them to do. I don't need to do anything in this game, right? I can just sit here and wait for Simplified to win. And, you know, I am fighting here, obviously, getting a nice peel of volleys on these Nabatean swords, cycle charging the Gallic Warriors, so I'll start to win that fight pretty decisively. Maybe this unit will die eventually, but there's another Missile Hotblade just waiting there. I can cycle more units in. I have a ton of reserves. Honestly, probably should be committed a little bit harder here in these fights just to keep winning them. But you can see Nabatea is basically just dead at this point, and Syracuse has all 3 Balearics with chevrons at this point. Chevrons with 52 kills, so you know he's been shooting high-value targets, which is what you want to see with the Balearics. And they still have a ton of ammo as well. Another cav down. Thoreos, my Massilian Thoreos, doing a good job shooting cav. Noble cav now. You can see like Massilia, or sorry, Nabatea is under all sorts of pressure from all sides. The gen is dead, so their morale is terrible. And now it's just Carthage against the world. So again, sort of a done deal here. We don't need to look into too much more detail. But yeah, again, this was kind of facilitated by the fact that we had a little bit more time to prepare. It was like 5 minutes, you know. But I'm pretty happy with how this plan worked out. Like, and it's something that they could do in the other games, right? Like, and maybe they realized this after this game, but in the other games, it's sort of the same thing where they have the missile advantage, and we have to push them. So Carthage can just be protected. If Carthage is just protected, then maybe they can just win the missile fight and force us to bot into them, kind of, and overchase to kill their fucking missiles. But it is a little bit closer. Like, this game, they had absolutely no missile contention. In the other games, Syracuse is taking 3 Balearics, right? So Syracuse is taking a significant missile force, so they can't just win the missiles fight so easily and do so much damage with their missiles. We would also be able to do a lot of damage with our missiles as well. And yeah, Carthage is still alive with their cav, but their cav wasn't really able to do much. My turn to doing nothing in the background here, but we just chased them down. I have literally like a bunch of full units that haven't even seen combat. They will now go to work against these units. Very healthy, bunch of very healthy units. And yeah, very decisive win. So this kind of backfired for them. And yeah, so now they need to, you know, it's a best of 5. They're down 2-0. They lost the other series, and they need to come up with a solution fairly rapidly here. All right, so yeah, let's go to game 3. And yeah, so the full rush tactic didn't work. I think, I don't know what we were expecting necessarily, but you know, they sort of had to change something. So they actually turned back to the previous strategy. You actually see they kind of even go heavier into the missiles for Carthage. So pretty similar. Again, armies are exactly the same. No reason to change anything. Having won, you know, the last couple games, only losing that one game in the last series. We're up 2-0 this series. Everything is looking good. We're feeling confident. So same armies for us. So I have 1 Thoreos, 2 Axe Warriors, 3 Celtics, 2 Tarentines, 2 Massilian, 4 Paeus Lancers, 4 Levy Freeman, and 2 Massilian Hoplites. Simplified has the 3 Balearics, 1 Slinger, 3 Militia Hoplites, 1 Thoreos, 3 Thorax, 3 Samnites, 1 Hippeus, 2 Citizens, 1 Italian, and 2 Tarentines. I believe, so a small change, but I would say a good change here from Nabatea. He's gone for extra Heavy Lancers. Heavy Lancers are just better than the Noble Cav in most situations, especially with the way that my army is. So 840 Heavy Lancers with 40 armor and 95 health against the 1060 cost Hippeus Lancers for 60 armor and 100 health. Honestly, they're both very heavy, right? Yeah, of course the Hippeus are better, but for the cost, that's not a bad trade-off. The Noble Cav just don't really do anything. They don't kill infantry as much. They are survivable. They're more survivable, but there's no missiles to shoot them anyway on my side, so it's sort of like you might as well bring the Lancers. So he does have 3 Heavy Lancers. I think everything else is the same, though. He has the Pikemen, the 2 Armored Desert Hoplites, 3 Slingers. So he'll have 4 Nabatea Noble Cav this time, 5 Swords, 1 Axeman. And now Carthage has made the biggest change. So back to the 2 Tarentines, back to a single Noble Cav this time with 3 Carthaginian Cav. So even mirroring the cav force of Syracuse. But now he has 1 Cretan, 2 Cretans, and 3 bleks. So 5 elite missiles, a couple of late Libyan hoplites, 3 of them here. He does have 3 Sam Knights, he does have 2 Scutaria, and a Gallic warrior, or an Italian actually. So basically just trading a bit of a cav superiority for a bit of missile superiority. And actually Simplified just nukes that Numidian there, gets 30 kills instantly, taking 4 casualties in response. So a very good start. And also hitting this Cretan here, and you can see he's not using this Cretan Asseror for whatever reason. Now this Slinger is getting 2v1, so that's bad, but you would rather the Slinger get 2v1 than a Balearic, and this Balearic is, these Balearics are 2v1ing the Cretan. Which is why this is dying so fast. But Cretans are good to kill fast because they just don't have block chance. You can just shoot them down quickly, and now they don't have the killing power anymore, the rapid killing power, having lost so many men, and essentially wasted a lot of ammo. See, my Tarentines already get behind, and now we're kind of in a good position. We've already messed up their only Javcav force, so now these Tarentines are really free to roam and just do whatever they want. You can see these Balearics are now going to try to 2v1 this Balearic and get sword side as well. So that's a very good angle. Like this will actually just destroy these Balearic very quickly. Already getting a couple kills in that volley. Second volley coming in from the other unit. This Balearic's still doing fine. 83 against 54, so I don't know, I guess they're all shooting the Slinger or something. Not sure how this Balearic gets such a big advantage. But we basically just won the missile fight. Like, we have just won the missile fight of 3 Balearics and a Slinger versus 2 Cretans and 3 Balearics. Not sure how that happened, really. But now this other Cretan, Fresh, is going to get in here and start to own with the help of this other depleted Cretan. And so they will start to get back into it, but we honestly traded very favorably here, given how much worse our missiles were. This Balearic is 82 men, so very healthy. The Slinger finally did rout, but did fine, getting doubled. And now that this Balearic has started dying, we say, okay, it's time to go in, and our plan is pretty much the same. Obviously, simplifying, like, doubling Nabatea was sort of on the whim thing. But here, my plan is to flank. You can see I have even more on the flank. Now I have 2 Apaeus, 1 Massilian Cav, I have 2 Celtics, an Axor, a Massilian Hoplite, a Levy Freeman, all trying to flank, if possible, with these Tarentines lurking in behind. And, of course, Carthage is going to go forward here as well. Simplified, just trying to reform, back up a little bit, and see what's up. Again, a very balanced fight for him, but the longer that these Cretans and Balearics shoot him, the worse it will be. So again, it's kind of on me to win the fight over here, and you can see I am making headway here. This guy, this Ice Warrior, is either fighting my flank or opening these Tarentines up to shoot, which is very good. And here I go again, trying to get around. Here you can see he's pre-ordering Pila, and actually see that and back up. Here I'm going to charge in with my Apaeus and my Massilian Cav. Again, not really great to not just use the Apaeus here. Getting a good charge here. We'll take some Pila for that though. 6 casualties, nothing to scoff at. And you can see this charge actually is going to hit my Celtics actually and get a lot of kills. So the Celtics being light and Nabatean swords being medium is a thing to consider here. But I am overwhelming these Nabatean Axe Warriors very quickly, breaking them. Levy Freeman getting a nice charge into the Heavy Lancers. Hoplites getting in. You can see I'm instantly pulling more support to the flank. Getting another charge here into this, I guess, Axe Warrior this time. And his only counter-charging me with the Noble Cap. So I am getting the better of this fight, but he just has so many units here. He has tons and tons of low tiers. And again, I will eventually get bogged down in these combats. Especially because these units are just kind of doing nothing. That's a lot of my army there, you know, Massilian Hoplite at the rails and the Celtic, plus these 2 Cav and the Levy Freeman just not doing anything. And you can see these Celtics just die. Like, they just die. He finds a really nice charge here on this Celtic again, which was trying to help this fight, but now it just gets slammed by the Nabatean Noble Cav. And you can see all of a sudden this Axe Warrior is 80 men, Celtic 70, Celtic 80, and this is a 100 men Axe Warrior. This is an 80 man Swordsman. This is a 80 man swords here as well. 106 axe. So I'm actually not making super great progress. On the other side, Carthage is sort of just backing up and chilling. See Nabatea kind of getting doubled, but it just sort of just happens to be here. Actually, a really great charge from this citizen. But the real action is sort of here. Most of Carthage is just inactive, and most of Syracuse as well, kind of just chilling. Maybe Simplified needs to take the initiative here. Like, you should probably kill this and get in on these fights, because a lot of Carthage's manpower is on the left. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 melee units not doing anything against 1, 2, right? So probably Simplified needs to take the advantage. These Balearics are way too far back. They are shooting, but they can't be shooting anything valuable. And you can see Carthage is sort of helping against any sort of threat of a double team here. and has a lot of their melee power, 3 of their melee plus this one, 4 here. So simplified is sort of slow to react this time as well. Um, but again, it is sort of on me to win on my flank. He does have the harder matchup, so I don't totally blame him. But with free units, you kind of do need to just take the initiative here and kill them. I try to route these low morale units here with a back charge from these Teratines, get them out of there pretty quickly. This heavy lancer does come in. You can see these slingers are starting to take their toll. They're chipping down my lancers. My lancers had to initiate these fights, so they actually aren't doing too well in these, in terms of HP. Like this one's down to 38, this one's down to 15. You see his cav 60, 60, 27, 28. So he's taking some losses, 58, but not as many as you might expect. Maybe one heavy lancer did die though, because I don't see it on the field anywhere. This one's pretty much also dead. He did have 3 of them initially. Okay, there's so one is dead, but 2 are still pretty healthy. I do get into this one, but you see, I actually don't have any more infantry support, so once again, I've kind of been bogged down on my flanking action, and this is not good. Like, if once I get bogged down, he's always just gonna have more infantry reserves with these low tiers, because basically he has 6 low tiers, and I only have 5. Right, so he already starts with an extra one. He has the pike. We match 2 for 2 with the hoplites. Of course, I have better quality. But my Celtics really haven't been great in this matchup. They're just kind of dying. They don't want to grind. They need a cycle, and there's not really that many opportunities to cycle. Plus, the Levy Freemen have also just been dying very early on. They can't really do very much in the middle game. They really can support cav fights, but if he's supporting them with real infantry and I'm supporting them with Levy Freemen, then of course that's not really going to favor me at all. I am starting to break through, but again, you can just plug the gap with a full health Nabatean sword. And my Celtic, as good as they are, Gala Chevron did fine, is not really going to do much in there. It's gonna die to the sword. Slingers have been cooking the whole game. 21, you can see almost a chevron with 21 kills. 16, half a chevron. 43, okay, not so good here, but for 28. But yeah, still getting all kills on my cav. And my cav are just getting chipped down. He does have reserves here. Full Nabatean Noble cav. Gen pretty healthy. 44 mana pace, sure. 53 mana pace, not bad. And I am winning these fights, so slowly but surely, we are taking, the fight to Nabatea. But eventually this sword is going to be free. It will help in this fight. I can only help so much. I'm starting to cycle charge finally. I am winning probably this fight long term. Although it is pretty close. There was a sword that was involved in this fight as well. I have a pretty healthy axe warrior here. So things are happening. But eventually this sword is going to be a big problem. This fight is sort of just going to be a draw. I mean, there's a 40 men Lancer here. But I have a 40 minute pace. Bunch of noble cav. There's a full noble cav here that will start to turn this in my favor. Because this pretty healthy Lancer is getting out. Gen's starting to get involved, but these slingers are just racking up the kills. Now, Syracuse is starting to take the fight. Did overwhelm these units, so again, where you can overwhelm, you kind of get these free fights. Killing a Scutarii with basically no value with these Samnites and these Thorax, so he has a lot of infantry left. Much hoplite just duking it out there. Very healthy Samnite, but there's still these missiles, and we don't really have an answer for them. I mean, you look at the Gen for simplified, pretty weak. Carthaginian cav is healthier. Again, when you have better missiles, I mean, it's just going to be easy to win, like, by shooting cav, and that's basically what happened. So simplified's cav is basically dead. I mean, he just citizen cav. Someone went to help me, fair enough, because I wasn't really winning my side. But now there's just Carthaginian cav, there's 5 elite missiles. We do have a lot of infantry, but the infantry doesn't really matter. I mean, there are healthy slingers, so maybe simplified can focus on killing bleks. We can turn it around. Here I'm killing off this noble cav. My gen's probably going to die. Maybe this Italian or citizen cav can do something here. But this is not looking great. Like, we need our infantry to get over here, pressure the slingers. We need our slingers to cook, dump this, kill the general. Then maybe Simplified's general can turn things around for us and win. Does do that nicely, gets a nice volley in there, kills a whole bunch of that. Holy crap, that was a nice volley from those 3. Now Simplified's general can actually cook this, but Nabatea is just about holding out, and now Carthage is helping as well. So I received a little help, but now Carthage is also helping Bleks a bit. Bleks is Nabatea. And you can see it just about these Nabatean cav are gonna win against my cav. I do have a little bit of support coming, but again, they just have all these missiles, and missiles are now just kind of untouchable, starting to cook everything. And yeah, we have some infantry left, but infantry are just no match for the power of like bleks, slingers, and stuff. So we're trying to reform here. We do have the Gen, but the Gen can never really get close. So he'll just sacrifice a Carthaginian cav and dump the crap out of the Gen. So this is just pretty much lost. I mean, we'll have to go for it, but not much we can do. And yeah, the issue really stemmed on my side more than simplified side. Like, he did fine. Really hard to kill all these missiles. probably, again, his Terrantines, I don't see them on the field, so they probably also died. And they're very important to kill these missiles in the late game. My Terrantines also, also died trying to do some risky stuff, trying to route units in the back and stuff, which should work. And now, yeah, I mean, the general just can't ever get close to anything. There's a bunch of missiles alive, so even on infantry, the infantry fight's pretty close with whatever Namatea has left. So no dice in this case, and they do catch a win here, um, with just like nothing special, right? They just won. On my side, I wasn't able to like get around the flank and really affect it. He was able to pour reserves into the flank fight. His cav, he has so much of it, 7 cav against like 7 quality cav against my two Massilian cav and the 4 Payas. So long term, if he can stall me out, if my Levy Freemen aren't getting value, if I'm not killing things with my Celtics, then the slingers will have more value, right? And that's sort of what's happening there. And now it's in game 4. They can repeat that. They can bring it to a final game. And if we lose this game, then we'll probably really be struggling for answers, right? Because if we can't beat what they have, then we need to change something, which is something that we haven't had to do yet. So let's see what game 4 has to bring. Yeah, I think we were still thinking that we lost 1 game, sure, but we did win many games that look just like that game. Sure, they had the extra archer, but that has some weaknesses too. It makes Carthage just a little bit weaker. We were able to trade down the missiles pretty effectively, honestly. So again, I'm like, okay, I have to win. My side just, better. I see what they're doing. I wasn't able to wrap around the flank effectively. Sort of the problem, right, is that I'm running out of units on the flank. Like, I go around this long flanking action. It's very hard to bring more units there. He is holding a flat line, right, and then just bringing units from close by to support, where I have to go very far to support. So if I don't get enough around the flank initially, if I don't kill his units very quickly, then I will just run out of steam. They'll slow me down. I'm losing my Levy Freeman, but they're not really doing anything. And then his slingers just cook me, and his infantry is actually just, better. Because the Celtics are good, but the Navajan swords are not really worse. I mean, they cost a lot more. They're much less cost effective. But because I'm so stretched out, I also cannot grind. I'm grind fighting, right? I'm not really able to cycle because I'm intentionally trying to stretch and flank, right? So I don't have the ability to cycle where the Celtics are really best. And if they're not instant killing, if they're getting charged by Cav, which eventually they will be to some degree by these 7 Nabatan Cav, then we're really in a lot of trouble, and that starts to become very difficult. So I think everyone has exactly the same armies except Carthage. Carthage did go back to only 1 Cretan and 3 Balearics, so instead they get even better infantry this time. So they still go for the mirror and Cav, 1 noble, 3 Carthaginian, 2 Numidians, match kind of the Italians, citizens, AS Lancer, and the 2 Tarentines. But now he has 1 Samnite, 2 Libyan, Samnite, Samnite, Scutarii, Scutarii. So 6 very, very strong infantry. So this is really as mirrored as it can probably get, except that Carthage just has better missiles and better infantry. Um, and then there's 2 Tarentines and a Thorio Spear in return for Syracuse. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So very balanced. Again, very hard matchup for Syracuse to really win. You need to get, not lucky, but you need to outplay your opponent pretty significantly because you just have worse units, right? You just have worse units kind of everywhere. These Samnites and Libyans and the 2 Scutarii, I guess, are technically maybe a little bit worse than the 3 Samnites and 3 Thorax, but cost-effective wise, the Scutarii are just great here. Um, and now this Balearic also gets caught in like a 2v1. You can see it can't really get much support. And I think actually simplified that you like misclicked here and you gave a move order and like probably just clicked right next to the unit instead of giving an attack order. And now this Balearic is in real big trouble. Numidian does charge in, he gives up the charge, but he gets a peel volley, and now this Balearic turns back, takes about 30 kills. So last game we got that advantage where we killed a bunch of Numidians and Slingers early on. This game, Simplified makes that mistake where he's now going to lose 40 Balearics for pretty much nothing. And that starts the game on a rough note because now their missile advantage is pretty much solidified. Like, they will just win the missile trade very effectively. It's actually more than 40, it's more like 50 and counting, 55 pretty much instantly. And you can't really use this. This unit is just dead, right? Like, this unit can't really do anything. He's 2v1, he's not able to support because of the angles that Carthage is taking. You can see bleks just chilling here, not really fighting me at all. I don't really want to fight him either. Like, every time I go in range here and let his slinger shoot for free, it's actually bad, so I'll have to retreat out of range once he takes the volley here. I want to take it in the back, obviously. But if I realize this, then I will just move back. But yeah, not great for us at the start of this game. And again, that's going to force our hand to be very aggressive. And just like the game 2 where they tried to like YOLO us, it's very hard to be the aggressor into such an army. You have to find like a breakthrough, and in 2v2 that's not easy to do because you're forced to fight on one flank each instead of being able to go around, and that really makes a problem. So now I am going to come back in range. I'm saying, okay, look, we're losing this missile fight. We already lost a full Balearic for absolutely nothing, pretty much. Got, like, no kills. We need to just charge. Hope that we can overwhelm them some way and kill their missiles, or we'll just lose, right? Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in the same position as they found themselves in game 2, which is just nowhere that we want to be. We do have Turrentines behind them, though, so we are, encircling them. If we can keep our Turrentines alive for the late game, that will be quite nice. You can see I'm bringing even more units to the flank this game. 2 Celtics, and Axe Warrior, Levy Freeman, 2 Hippeus. My Massilian Cap, I don't want to charge first. I realized that mistake. Like, why are these guys charging? I want the Hippeus to charge. And one thing that Bleks has been doing consistently is letting me charge his infantry. Whether or not that's intentional or just he's not fast enough to realize that's happening, um, I don't know. But here you can see, like, my Levy Freeman are going to take this Pila, and then, yeah, they're going to take it in the ass, but going to let my Hippeus get a free, clean charge. They get a free charge on these Nabate and Noble Cav. Celtics are getting in. But everything here is kind of optimal for me. So we did, make a mistake here, but I'm getting a good engagement. So if my game plan is to be successful, if my game plan can be successful, it should be successful in this case because of what I'm doing here. You see, I got another Lancer charge here. He does countercharge me nicely, but you can see this Nabatean Axe Warrior is pretty much just dead. I have a nice amount of units on the flank this game. And this time my Levy Freemen are not just getting charged and dying, they're actually going to chill, survive. My Hippeus are going to get out here with minimal losses. 3 losses. Now, this Nabatean Noble Cav do make it out pretty much unscathed, which is nice for him. Celtics will get a clean charge here on these hoplites as well. No Cav charge, unfortunately, but still pretty good. Carthage, you can see, is just running to help Nabatea, Simplified doing the same. So it's clear the action will just take place here. But you can see now Bleks is doing the thing. He's bringing his reserves. He's bringing units from the right to the left to stop me from being able to surround him, which is smart. I brought this Axe Warrior with 60 men remaining, which is pretty nice. Using that low morale to my advantage. I'm trying to get my Axe Warrior in here. I'm actually running my Celtic away. 100 men still, so it's actually in pretty good shape. But it's going to start to take losses in the back here. Kind of just a messy fight everywhere. He did charge my Levy Freeman here. Got, no, didn't get any kills on that unit. I guess I got some kills on some other stuff. But yeah, that's one Levy Freeman just down for pretty much for free, which is pretty bad for me. Here my Tarentine does get kind of caught, which is also really, really bad. Do recognize it fast enough, I guess, to get out of there, hopefully. It seems like I'm running away. On this flank, again, nothing really going on. So you can see he's rotating in range. This is really bad for, to ever do. You never want to rotate in range. It is slower to go outside of range, but you just have to do it. You can't just let him dump you for free. I mean, that's just like the best value these Balearics will get, is just shooting infantry and cav while they're moving for free. It's quite devastating. But you can see on this time I do have a flank opportunity. Like, I am bringing more units to the flank. I have all my Hippeus ready to do stuff. This Celtic did break with 86. It will come back as with this unit, but that's pretty unfortunate, I would say. Getting nice shots on that Nabatea Noble Cav with my Tarentine. It did get caught, but still going to get a lot of kills and not get completely caught. Here, running away from this Cav, that's fine. Get kind of caught, but now these Cav are actually kind of exposed, and I can bring a lot of units to fight them. Getting my Axe Warrior to charge in here, we should crush these swords. I am able to cycle charge now here a little bit too, because I'm bringing more units to the flank, so I actually have reserves. As you can see, now this actually is not terrible for me. I have Levy Freeman that can get into this fight. He does have a Axe Warrior here, but I have, a bunch of Hippeus. Celtic should come back. Cycle charging effectively. Nabatean Sword is going to die to these hoplites very efficiently. Levy Freeman does die, so again, not really getting the best value, but I'm just letting it get charged. Simplified's Tarentines now show up here to try to shoot Cav, which is good, but they get a little bit caught. You obviously have some micro on 2 sides, so not easy. But Simplified's getting, like, no value right now, right? Like, he's trying to help me, but he's just losing so much to the Slingers right now. Like, the Slingers are just getting free shots. All these units are just rotating completely in range, and he's not doing any damage back, right? So Carthage is completely untouched. So we need to kill Nabatea if we want to win this game. And we are making inroads. Like, we have healthy Celtic and Axe killing off this hoplite. Bunch of Levy Freeman still very healthy. This fight's pretty good, although the pikemen will change that. This is maybe a little early. There's no support here. I still have a lot of units too far on the flank because Massilian hoplite. Both of my Massilian hoplites should not be here. One should definitely be on this flank, trying to fight like here, for example. But my Tarentine, or my Hippeus Lancer is very healthy. Moreos is full, and we're making inroads on the flank, getting some good fights, killing off a Noble Cav, gonna kill off this Heavy Lancer. Tarentine's in good position to shoot the blob. So things are looking definitely better with these reactions. Here you can see he pulls out a Nabatean sword to try to get into this fight. That is a good move, but he's getting chased by the Celtic, so he's just going to eat it in the back. And this Axe Warrior will be able to help out. I see that, and I want to charge this Nabatean sword in the back as well. Maybe I can just route it. Heavy Lancer pretty much just instantly dying. My Gen actually getting pretty decent combat here as well. You see this Nabatean sword just died trying to do that pull-out maneuver. Not very effective. And our Terrantines are still alive, a little bit depleted, but that's fine. Cycle charging even my Cav, although that's a little not great. But these Axe Warriors naturally get in here and clean this up. So Namatea is crumbling, but Syracuse has lost a lot for nothing. So it will take a lot. And again, these Slingers are starting to ship us down. We have a lot of units still trying to get through. And if we go, but the problem is if we go through a gap like this, right, it will just be met by support and die. It's very kind of hard to do that. Maybe a citizen can go for it because if it dies, it doesn't really matter as much. But now, yeah, Syracuse is pretty much committed to helping me at this point, and we are killing Nabatea pretty nicely. I mean, there's a pretty healthy couple of units left for Nabatea, but that's it. Maybe one sword. I have a full health hoplite here, another two full health hoplites. I have the Thoreos as well. Syracuse is coming as well. Nice charge here, though. It does catch me. This Lancer was pretty weak, though, so this is going to die. But you can see I am pretty much mass routing Nabatea here. Celtic is going to die, but this Axe Warrior is really healthy. Just going to beat up this sword. Recharge on this Nabatean Axe as well. So those units are just going to die. Get my Light Cav into the... Light Cav, Basilian Cav into the Heavy Lancer. Next into combat will do great. But these Terrantines are going to go down. And yeah, it's a bloody fight, but we are winning against Nabatea, which is good. That mission has pretty much been successful. Like, we will win against Nabatea in the long term. His Slingers are still alive, but okay, you know, that's just sort of inevitable. He's using kind of like the last of his resources here. It's a really nice charge. This charge actually maybe like turns the game because instead of me getting a charge, I basically didn't get a charge with this Epeius, got in my Celtic, killed that Celtic off, and now Carthage is really healthy, right? Carthage will just beat up Syracuse because Syracuse is just depleted everywhere. So you see 83 Thorax against full, this 75 against 100, so now Carthage can come and support. And yeah, Syracuse was supporting me, but now Carthage is going to save Nabatea here and kind of clean up these fights. And now this flank is kind of, you know, against a full fresh Noble Cav, we can do nothing against that. So I kind of have to chill. We are rushing through the center, getting to the Slingers, mass routing them. All things are good, but the flank has kind of been lost. We'll lose a little bit of value there. And we're still fighting sort of desperately against these units in the center here. We got some charges. The Syracuse in general also getting shot. And again, it's now a question of how are we ever going to kill these missiles? Because our cav has been significantly depleted. Like, my cav pretty much traded with Nabatea's. I have more cav alive. I mean, Carthage is now changing that. But the problem is Syracuse used a lot of cav to fight Nabatea as well. The gen for Syracuse is not that healthy. And Carthage has been doing nothing, right? Carthage is full health, kind of everything. Full Carthaginian cav, full Carthaginian cav, full Noble cav, full Carthaginian cav. I mean, just everything is literally just full. Has taken no damage. And so yeah, like the way that simplified rotated here just kind of made it impossible for us to win. I mean now, yeah, we have the infantry advantage, but Carthage and Nabatea will just clean this up in the long term with their missiles. I mean they still have a lot of ammo, almost established everyone already, but only 50 kills, so they're probably good for way more. Here Sam Knight against Thorax, a good fight for Carthage to win. And now we just need a way to find a way to get to the missiles. You can see like Nabatea now kind of stabilizing. I mean they have a healthy cav gen. I mean I have a healthy lancer, healthy gen. Syracuse gen very low, full Thoreos as well. But there's just no way to get to these missiles, and Carthage's cav is just literally full HP. So we will just lose in the long term. And we have no missiles to speak of, pretty much like just one depleted Balearic, one regular Slinger, nothing to fear. And that means that we can never really get to these Slingers. We can't shoot them, so how are we going to kill them? There's just no way. Which means that, again, things are looking a little bit more tight, and we haven't been able to win the last two games. They have a very clear strategy now that has won them the last two games. We don't look like close to winning games, really, at this point. Like, this game was maybe a little closer. My side was good, but again, not really decisive, and Carthage is always going to have a pretty big advantage against Syracuse, so yeah, something needs to change if we want any hope here, or we will just get reverse swept, and bleks and asseror will just win the series. Yeah, I mean, just again, we have infantry, but we have no way to get to Slingers, so we have to be kind of desperate to do that, and that just never works against full health cav. And yeah, now we just mass route. So yeah, 2-2. And now it all comes down to the final game. So let's go with that. Oh, maybe we can see the stats for one game. Oh my god, we can see the stats for one game. That's cool. But we haven't looked at the stats for the game, so I'll just show and then want to pause and look at them. You can. Not too interested in that really. Let's go to the final game. Make sure that everything's still recording. Cool. Game 5. And I will say, so the context for this is basically I was playing at a conference and I had to go. But we played this game the next day. I want to say, yeah, I think it was the next day. So I had at least a little bit of time to think about how to fix our problems. Because we had a lot of problems, clearly. We're losing the games. They had fixed their problems. But by virtue of us winning these first 2 games, we did have time, at least in terms of games, to, if they win one game, okay, maybe that's just luck. And they win the second game, okay, we need to really reevaluate what we're doing, right? We shouldn't lose 2 games in a row without reevaluating what we're doing. Something is clearly going wrong. What do we have to fix? How do we fix it? But because we had this like day break between the 4th and 5th games, all of a sudden we have um, a bit of a chance to think about the games, what's going wrong, how do we fix it. So let's go into the game and see what the solution was. So there's a few things on both sides, right? Like from my side, let's talk about, yeah, my side first against Nabatea. What was going wrong? Well, very clearly, I was trying to flank, right? I was getting bogged down. He was sending reserves. Maybe I would trade, but the fights were taking too long, and the slingers, 3 slingers, were starting to cook me a little bit, and my Levy Freeman were just kind of dying, and then he just has better low tiers. He has more of them. I have a lot of units on my left side that are doing nothing, while I try to funnel reserves to the right, and then, of course, his rotations are just faster. His cap is better than mine. Long term, this is not going to work. But what was working was that he was giving me those initial charges, right? He was letting me, basically like his edge most units, I was able to charge them with the Hippeus, kill them pretty quickly, and that does sort of even the odds. Now, I was taking some losses on my Hippeus, but to kill a Cav, force his Cav to countercharge, that sort of thing, it was generally worth it. I wasn't like, I didn't think that was a problem. So I discovered very quickly after I was thinking about what I was doing, that it's obvious what the problem is. Like, there's no need to actually flank. Like, flanking is sort of bad. It basically funnels the fight into one location. Like, my left flank was pretty much a dead zone the entire game. It's just my right side trying to fight whatever he could send in reserve, right? That's not what I want to do, right? Like, my advantage in this matchup is I can just YOLO charge very efficiently. I have 4 Hippeus and 4 Levy Freeman to screen. I will always get the better of the initiative when I'm trying to charge, because he can never really YOLO me. If he tries to YOLO me, he just eats Pila, he eats a charge from my Hippeus. I'm better in both cases, right? If I charge his Cav, my Hippeus get the better of that trade, no matter what his Cav is. If I Pila him with like 2 Pila units, the Cav just dies. And I can counter charge it and kill it off. And that's like a decent enough trade with my Levy Freeman. Or maybe in the best case, I get Pila and countercharge, right? And then the cap just dies completely for nothing. So that means that I can be very like stingy and get very good charges. Like I can bait him out, I can force him to use his Pila with my Levy Freeman, I can bait out his cab to get into bad positions, or he doesn't try to use his cab, he lets me YOLO charge his infantry. But in the previous games, I only charged like 1 or 2 of his infantry because my left side didn't do anything. I was only trying to charge on the side I was flanking, and I was bringing my cav around. My cav doesn't want to be in extended melee with Nabatea Noble cav with better support for him with slinger shooting. That's never what I want. I want to charge him everywhere with all my hit pass, because that's where I'm going to get the most value on the charge in the sort of first phase of the game. And if I can kill enough on the charge, then all of a sudden I'll just have the numbers advantage inherently if I kill, let's say all of my, in sort of an optimal case, all of my Hippeus connect with 4 of his Nabatean swords, right? So everywhere I charge, I clean hit a Nabatean sword, I'll lose some Hippeus for it, but he'll be down 4 low tiers, 4 melee infantry, and all of a sudden then I'll just have the numbers to flank anyway. My Levy Freeman can flank, he'll just be out of reserves because he'll need his reserves to then plug his front lines because I just charged 4 of his units and killed them. So it's a very simple fix, right? For me, I want to, yes, be spread out, and the reason I want to be spread out is because I want to get charges. I don't want to blob up, right? If I blob up, it'll be harder to get charges, so I want to be spread out. I can flank a little bit, but I want to make sure I attack everywhere. So that's my main goal is now to charge with all 4 Lancers, just fucking slam it in, kill his low tiers, kill his Nabatean Swords, Axe Warriors, and then just overwhelm with my, the numbers that I create, keep my Tarantines alive, because again, once his reserves get siphoned off, the Tarentines can then shoot his cav, and that will be, obviously very high value. So a more aggressive stance for me, and to complement that for Syracuse, problem for Syracuse, right, is the sort of mirror matchup nature of their matchup with Carthage, and no, and spoilers here, but Carthage brought the same army, right? They brought 3 Balearics, they have 1 Cretan, they have the 1 Noble Cav, 3 Carthaginian Cav, 2 Numidians, bunch of Levy Free, not Levy Free, but like Libyan Hoplites, and then the 3 Samnites, 1 Libyan, and 2 Scutarii. So again, that very infantry heavy, and missile heavy, mirror of what Syracuse was bringing before. But what is the one advantage Syracuse has over Carthage? Carthage cannot bring low tier slingers, and 5, again, Syracuse can bring 5 same. 5 low tier slingers costs nothing and will trade decently into the Balearics, because if you think about it this way, the Balearics and the Cretans, if they don't shoot the cheap slingers, the cheap slingers will just kill them in the long run, right? Like in the long run, they will just kill them because they're not getting shot back. Of course, the slingers will just kill. If the Polarics shoot the slingers, there's 5 of them. They will do damage back, and they will take a long time to die because there's 5 of them. They're shooting back. You're trading ammo. You're killing, so you're wasting even more ammo. Those are all very positive trades, and by taking 5 of these cheap slingers, you have a lot more money for other units. So let's look at the army that we have for Syracuse here. It's 5 cheap slingers. It's 2 Hippeas, so getting a cav advantage now with 2 Italian cav. And then you have the same 6 melee units, of course, 3 Samnites, 3 Thorax, and then 2 Thureos, and 1 Militia Hoplite. So it's a much better quality across the board. You have double Hippeas now, so that's very strong. You have the cav advantage, which means these slingers in the long term are even weaker. You have more Thureos. Again, they can affect the infantry fight. They can throw Pila, they can shoot cav, whatever. Just sort of generally useful. Sort of the only other like quality unit Syracuse can bring. And then you have the 5 cheap slingers, which again are much cheaper than the missiles of Carthage, but give Carthage a real problem, right? And I told Simplified that his plan was very simple. If he doesn't shoot the slingers, just your slingers are always the front line. If he keeps his Balearics back to not trade, you just dump your ammo into anything until you've used like half of your ammo or whatever, and then you just try to shoot the slingers. You walk. If 5 slingers use half their ammo, right, they are going to kill enough where the infantry will start to win. Then the Balearics, sure, they'll start to shoot back, but when the Balearics start to shoot back, you try at your very best to get your slingers into the Balearic range and shoot them back. There's a case where let's say the frontline fight is here for both sides. They're fighting each other like this. The Balearics can stand back here at 150 range, or they can just barely shoot the front line of Syracuse. And the slingers, no matter what, right? The slingers, these are the slingers, they can't shoot back, right? Because they're behind the front line. There's that like one case, but that's like very niche and very difficult to achieve because it's a very small amount of space that you can do that in, where you can still shoot the front line of the enemy, you can't get shot back. Plus, it doesn't take into account like angles, like getting surrounded and then having a slinger on the angle to shoot them from the side, or getting good enough shots with the Balearics. Because if these front line is engaged, let's say their front line is fighting here, if you're just shooting the back of your own men, like that shot's, yeah, you can't shoot the slinger back, but those slinger shots are fucking terrible anyway. So it creates a big problem for Carthage, how to deal with these slingers. There's not really a good solution. So I was very confident that Syracuse would actually do quite well here. They're going to win that missile cav trade. They're going to be able to put pressure on the Balearics. And I told Simplified, you have better cav now. You play very wide. You max out width, because Carthage doesn't want to match your width. Then the Hippeas becomes very strong, the Tarentines become very strong, and the 5 slingers actually become even stronger because they can, get 2v1s on the flank. So you go max width and you pressure Carthage, and anytime that Carthage is forced to move their missiles and you're shooting them, it's insane value, right? You're getting insane value if you do that. So that was sort of our plan. Syracuse is going to be super wide. I'm also going to be super wide. I'm going to attack everywhere when it's time for me to attack. Syracuse is going to just get positioning with their slingers, dump infantry if it's available, and if the Balearics try to trade, you dump the Balearics, use all your ammo on them, whatever. If the Balearics try to hide, you dump infantry, and then you try to get to shooting the Balearics once the main fight is starting. And of course, if the Balearics are hiding, they're not doing any chip damage to Syracuse's main army. So in sort of both senses, in my side and Syracuse's side, we have a sort of a better game plan here, much more thought through, sort of matching the strength of our factions and our units a lot better, and also matching a coherent game plan. Because in the other games where we had the Balearics, Syracuse didn't really want to attack. I wanted to attack. I have no slingers. Now Syracuse can, like, mean, sure, Syracuse still wants to shoot, and that's fine. But now the missile trade is good for us, sort of. A little bit better. I mean, of course, Nabatea can send slingers to help against the Syracuse slingers, which would probably be a smart idea. But of course, then I'm more free to attack. And Syracuse can still attack, and the cheap slingers can just shoot the bleks while he attacks, right? And then the slingers have to make a choice: do I shoot back at the regular slingers so that I don't die, or do I just shoot infantry to get value, but then I die in the long run? So yeah, we cause a lot more problems here, and but it's still, obviously it's still not. It's not like there's not a solution for Carthage and Nabatea, but because we had this much time to come up with a novel plan, they need to find a solution on the fly. Because I was very confident that if we just play it out like the other games, we will just win. But if they can figure out a solution, whether that's trying to double somebody, maybe bring the Nabatean slingers here to trade these slingers down effectively, because again, the bleks will just own these cheap slingers and the Cretans as well. It's about the quantity, right? So maybe if Nabatea brings 2 slingers and starts trading with these 2 slingers, then the 4v3 against the other 3 cheap slingers will be very efficient for Carthage, and if he gets rid of these slingers, then all of a sudden the bleks again just cook the late game and we just lose. We do have better cav at least this time to maybe do something about that. Make sure we're recording. Okay, we're good. So again, I'm getting behind with the Tarentines, so we're taking it slow. Here again, like pretty much any shots are good. You can see he's hitting the late Libyans here. But again, why not? I mean, eventually these slingers are just gonna die or use all their ammo, right? So might as well get some infantry kills when they're for free. Sort of bait these Cretans and bait these bleks into doing something. And also Simplified is posting up with his Tarentines here, aggressively trying to force a fight on the flank. You can see he's very wide here. He has these Therails, which don't really have a match on the Carthaginian side, so they can be very annoying. If he gets them around the flank, they can even try to pilo like Cav, for example, or infantry, or even I guess the Cretans. You can see I'm also bringing one Tarentine behind Carthage as well to force him to move more units like that, to distract him. Again, we want Carthage to be under constant pressure so that the bleks are not shooting and Simplified units are. If I was Simplified here, I'd be even wider, right? I want to have a situation where I have 2 slingers against 1 on the flank. Pretty much always, because I'm so dominant on the flank anyway. Nice dodge there from asseror, getting the shots back here on these Tarentines. Gonna lose 70 millions, but Tarentine's taking the worst of that trade. But now I have a 3rd Tarentine here, and we're very patient here. Like, we don't need to rush anything. Well, see, I'm very wide, but I'm not overly on the flank. I'm just strong everywhere. I will just charge everywhere. But the main fight is going to start over on the Syracuse side, because Syracuse has way more play here. So again, Cretan is coming up. Makes sense. Slinger is going to return fire. The Slinger is going to return fire as well. Dominion is trying to do something here, but again, now I'm pinching with mine. He goes for this like charge, but this is a little ill-advised. Doesn't get out of there in time. But now the Tarentines can also potentially charge here. This sort of pressure is what we want, right? Because eventually, I guess it's Cretan here. The Cretan looks very isolated, and he might want to move, and now he does move, right? Now he moves to make sure I don't get shots, but that means that these slingers are actually getting shots, and crucially means that these slingers are not getting shot back. So he did lose 20 men already here. A couple of them are dying there, but these Cretans are starting to also get shot at. They haven't lost any men yet, though. But again, that we can replicate that until the end of time, right? We can put pressure on the flank. Again, we can bring even more units to this flank, make these units move, trade fire positively, and we'll be okay. You can see here on my side, I don't want to get shot, so I'm just backing up. I don't need to rush yet, because this fight is still kind of what we want. Here he's moving back into range to shoot again, which is fine. But again, we're putting all this pressure here. And again, he can even move up this Theraeus, for example, and threaten to just throw javelins. He's actually going to do that now. Bring this Thorax or Sandman or whatever on the flank. Bring the Jet on the flank. Bring these units here. And just really pressure this flank. And try to maximize that. You see, one of these Nabatean slingers is returning fire. And also, like, these shot plates are inside this slinger, so you can see these guys won't shoot. So this slinger is, like, about half as effective as it could be. Which is not good. But we are getting finally some kills on these Cretans. You can see this Theraeus threatens to throw a volley here. Doesn't make him move, but again, we're just trying to make them move if possible. Asseror is responding well so far. But he is getting shot pretty hard here. 84, 584. This Slinger's only 78. It's not much weaker. This Slinger's not getting shot at. 87 on this Slinger. 82 on this Blerick. 77 on that Blerick getting shot by 2 Slingers. And again, we don't care if this slinger dies. This slinger dies, as long as we to the Nabatean one, right? As long as we kill the Balearics and Cretans, we're chilling. They're kind of on top of each other as well, which is not good. We've made them move a little bit. Now again, here, asseror decides to fall back. Not sure why really, but again, that's going to be free back shots on the Balearics, so they're going to take even more losses for nothing. Trying to charge out on this Thoreos, probably not a good fight anyway though. For the Libyan hoplites, they're going to get in the back, but decides to chill. I have a Tarentine just chilling behind. I'm resting my Tarentines because they're winded. This one's even very tired, which is pretty bad. Here though, threatening with the infantry. Again, he can threaten these fights and then Carthaginians decide shoot infantry or shoot slingers, because the slingers are still shooting back. And you can see the Cretan down to 74, 78 here, 78, and 57. So quite a bit of damage. No slingers have died yet, even for Syracuse. They are depleted though. 74, 44, but like not terribly depleted really. And again, just all sorts of pressure on the flank. The Numidians actually have done a good job though against this Tarentine, doing a lot of damage. Not really taking too much in return, which isn't great. Gets a Pila volley here as well, which is good. Into the Balearics and Cretans, that get extra damage. And again, on this side, not really much going on. I'm actually taking losses on my hip pass, which is not, or damage on my hip pass, which is not good. Yeah, I'm gonna go back out of range. But again, Carthage falling back, and every time he does this, like, not really forced to do this, but you know, we are behind him. He doesn't want to get overwhelmed. You can see the flank rotation here from Simplified, threatening to get out on this flank. Is a little dangerous. But every time he moves, we trade, and even if he's not moving, we're just already trading very well. Finally, Nabatea is bringing more slinger help. Probably something he should have done early on here. But if he does that, now I know that I have a good engagement here because he has a lot of units on this flank, which are not really supporting. So again, we're just forcing him to move. 63 on the Cretan, 61 Balearic, 67 Balearic, 38 Balearic against 50, 69, 54, 44, 62, right? So the numbers just favor us right now. We still have Tarentines in their back. We're still putting this pressure on them. The Rayos again shooting. The Cretan probably going to force him to move back. Maybe he just tanks it, but that's also fine. And now I'm going to take the initiative. I said, okay, like Simplified has done enough. He's really messed up these Balearics in the long term. They are not a threat. And again, Simplified's army is just better than Carthage's army besides the elite missiles. So trading down these 5 shitty slingers for the 4 elites, Simplified should just win this. Like, he has Tarentines behind them. Carthage is boxed up. Better cav, better infantry. Everything is just favoring Simplified here. So he was in a good spot. Of course, these Balearics in the long term could still, you know, do a lot of damage. So that's not anything to discount. But we said, okay, we've done enough damage. Now I want to take the fight to Nabatea, because again, that will also force Carthage to react. And either take the fight to Simplified, in which case he can still shoot these Balearics down and kind of just wins that fight in the long term, or force Carthage to move, in which case, again, 3 shots for Simplified. So let's see what's different about the engagement this time. See, I am still flanking a little bit, but again, I want to be wide so that I can get a charge here, 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 right? And that seems pretty doable right now. Whereas before I was like all like so many units here, so I'm getting these charges, but I would never go for the charges here because I wasn't strong enough. So let's see how this goes. And again, bleks have pretty consistently let me get these charges, so I'm confident that I'm going to be able to do that if I really want to. Bring this Tarentine back over here now to support. And here come the charges. See, my Levy Freeman were in close support in case I want to get a Pila. Boom, get a Pila volley into that Desert Heavy Lancer. Get another charge into this Heavy Lancer. Actually turn at the last second to charge this, probably a better charge. These Levy Freemen should get a Pila. They're kind of lame, so they don't throw, but they're still going to get in the back of these cav and do some damage. Here again, clean charge, wiping out this Axe Warrior instantly. Insta pull out my Lancers, get really good follow-ups everywhere. Here again, get a good follow-up. Hitting these Arbiter Hoplites, I guess, here. Trying to get into this pike. Throwing javelins into this cav blob. There you can see there's a double cav and a Lancer there, so it's a really good Pila for me. He is getting some counter charges now, but I am able to cycle charge. I still have my Levy Freeman. I'm strong on the flanks, and again, long term, he should just start to lose these fights. Full hoplite against 97 men. Here, 2 Celtics against 1 Nabatean sword. On the other side here, this fight is also starting kind of aggressively on both sides with these Lancers going in, hitting these, I don't know what he hit something. These Stam Knights are fighting, and again, this is just fine for Syracuse. But long term, the grind fight is pretty good with the Thuros and support as well. Just to throw some extra Pila. Here, these Axe Warriors are getting in sort of everything here. Kind of pulled through, so I just pulled back. I mean, to pull through there. Brazilian Hoplite's gonna get into this Axe Warrior, kill it off. There is one Axe Warrior here. This Pike actually did a good job. Kind of annoying. But this Armored Desert Hoplite is completely lost. He just started breaking through. You can see Carthage is sort of helping Nabatea this time. But I'm not really worried. Like, I can just bring a Hoplite here to deal with this. Bring some Cav. Kill off these Carthaginian Cav. And he actually overextended a little bit. Gets caught. Tries to run away, but he will take some losses for that. Here I'm killing off a Axe Warrior for free. I have my, again, now because I got all these charges, you can see his reserves are pretty much used up here. He has to get in to help against this. He has one reserve over here. But again, that will be needed soon, as this Hoplite will kill off this Nabatean sword with the help of this Cav. And now my Tarentines are just very strong here, able to get into range of his Cav, shoot his Cav down. Here I'm just like numbers up, completely numbers up, killing off this Armored Desert Hoplite, 2v1 against this Nabatean sword. A lot of healthy units here. Full Lancer, full Brazilian Cav, full Levy Freeman against this depleted, or well, like 3/4 strength, Noble Cav and Heavy Lancer. But with the Tarentine support, this is just awesome for me. On Simplified side, you can see it's just a kind of a grind. Hoplites and Phalanx, so this is just going to take a while. And the Bleriks are just getting shot. Like, Simplified is still just shooting them. And now look at the numbers of the Bleriks. 37, 63, 24, 39 against 37, 40, 43, 60, 54. So, way more regular slingers alive than cheap slingers, or than elites. And they are just continuing to shoot them down. And you can see he's forced to shoot back. He's forced to shoot back or they just die for nothing. But shooting back means that he's not shooting infantry, and Simplified infantry is just way better. Now Carthage was helping, but Simplified also going to help me out a little bit here with this Cav, because his side is looking pretty locked down. There is this one area where he's sort of breaking through. They routed my Celtic here with this Armored Desert Hoplite, so that might be sort of a problem. But these Tarentines are just unloading on Nabatean Cav, killing them off. This Tarentine also, again, just shooting this blob. Slingers, again, two of them are on this only on this side, so there's no chip damage. Just one slinger chipping me down, which isn't terrible. I find isolated Cav units, I can just kill them. Tri-Stabber support. Tarentines can either charge in the back. I have Levy Freeman support pretty much everywhere because these Levy Freeman didn't need to get used early game, because I just charge in. And yeah, isolated Cav can just die. Yeah, they're kind of winning in the center though, so that's something to watch out for. Noble Cav, pretty healthy. But yeah, with these slingers pretty much dead, now it's just a grind fight in the center. Samnite's getting cycle charge. This fight, 110 against 95. Samnites are better than Libyans. 3 Samnite here. Thorax are able to cycle charge. Nice, insane Pila here. Simplified, using the Thuros perfectly to again aid that infantry fight, and that's just one of the utility of having a unit like that. Here there is a Samnite breaking through, but there is a reserve Samnite here, pretty much same HP. And Carthage, yeah, does have some Cav alive, but you know, Syracuse also has the 2 Hippeus, which one of them I don't know where it is. One of them is on my side here, and an Italian Cav. So Carthage does have a lot of Cav available right now, but there's nothing to kill with them. Like, what are they going to do? They can kill the cheap slingers. I think they're out of ammo at this point, pretty much, which means the Lyric shouldn't have much ammo either. There's still the pretty healthy Hippeus Gen to lock it down, and maybe they could try to go around, but there's still Thureos. There's probably still a lot of Pila on the side of Syracuse, so not like they can really abuse this, and we're kind of just winning our flank super hard, killing off these isolated units. It's just the Gen now for Nabatea, pretty much. And this sword, but this sword again, I actually have pretty good infantry support. I have Cav support. This Brazilian Hoplite is getting cycled down. There's a full sword here, the last reserve, Nabatea getting in. Winning this fight here as well are my Brazilian Hoplites. And Syracuse is just going to win this long term. Does need to get his Gen to safety though. The Bleric's finally starting to get a little bit of value. These slingers pretty much out. Killed off the Cretan. Just 2 Bleriks left. And yeah, Nabatea is going down. So the adjustments were enough for us to win the game. Just basically made, I mean, these armies just made a lot more sense, like, if we're being honest. And now just collapsing in on the swords, forcing these Cav to react, and then we can just get in on these Cav. I can use my Gen here. Levy Freeman's still alive, full healthy Lancer here. Half Strength Nuts are here, some Levy Freeman, some Tarentines. But yeah, just much better played from us this game. Here I just suicided Tarentine in to try to silence these Bleriks for a bit, but he did respond just in time. You can see the last remaining ammo of these slingers going into these Bleriks. These guys are all out. And look at the value on these slingers. Like 40 kills, pretty good. 39 kills, pretty good. 64 and 1. Oh, probably had a pre-shove. But still, like a half a chevron on all these cheap slingers, just shooting elite missiles is insane value. Um, and yeah, Carthage's gen gonna go down now. Just we have way more stuff here, and yeah, we will certainly take this. So yeah, I mean, definitely help to be the ones who can adjust second, right? You never want to be the one who has to adjust first, because then your opponent will always have time to react, and if they're smart, they'll be able to come up with solutions, and then you have to come up with a solution on the fly with less time to react. We won the first two games, played well enough to win those. They reacted well in games 3 and 4, but we had game 5 when we had a little bit of time to think about how we want to solve the problem, and ultimately we did. So me and Simplified win the tournament. A very, very good tournament. I mean, the games between us and Bleks in both the final and the upper bracket final, and also Bleks team, our team, and Cat team. They had like Parthia and Macedon, I think, or Parthia and something. We're all very, very good. But yeah, we ultimately win. Um, Pretty tough tournament considering the factions. I mean, Massilia was really fun to play, but was quite repetitive. There's not much you can do under the rules. You kind of have to take similar army. But Simplified did really well with Syracuse as well. Not easy to do. Oh, my game crashed, but whatever. Stay on the screen for a second. But yeah, overall, really fun tournament. Well played to everyone, especially Simplified, my teammate, for getting the dub and taking the bitch rolls with Syracuse, but kind of have to. And yeah, did great. Tournament was fun. More content probably on the way soon. There was the season 6 of the Casual Corner, which was Siege. There was a pretty interesting final there too, maybe worth going over, but I don't really like to do Siege, so, or like Siege content, but maybe it's worth it. I don't know. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the lack of like looking at the results screen because my game just crashes every game, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Peace.